Lads, I need to talk about this right here. So yesterday's game was obviously funny. Yesterday's game was obviously crazy. But have you guys not seen the petition? The petition, lads. So if you guys didn't see, obviously, there is the Dallas Wings fan page. Take the All-Star game out of Indiana. I'm serious. This is about player safety. Dude, don't worry. Neither JC or Marina is making the All-Star team. Players will be safe.
The WNBA seems ready to erase Sophie Cunningham like she never existed. And for what? Having her teammates back and daring to show some fire on the court? Apparently, standing your ground is now grounds for exile, whether it was her physical play or her savage trash talk. The league's response feels more like a vendetta than a penalty. Cunningham didn't just play hard, she called out the nonsense, and the WNBA clearly couldn't handle the heat. Now, the drama's exploding into full-blown chaos, with ejections flying, tempers flaring, and fans asking, since when is passion a punishable offense? This saga's just starting.
We have had so far with Sophie Cunningham. She is standing on business. She's trending everywhere, and now she's retweeting all the drama. Sophie has simply made herself a star, which she was already famous, but at this point, she hella famous, super famous. She got parody accounts been made on her. Guys, this is lit.
Only in today's flipped-on-its-head, circus-level version of the WNBA can a player step up to defend her teammate from nonstop cheap shots, elbows, and dirty hits. Yet somehow she's the one people are calling to punish. It's like logic left the building. The same fans who stay silent during flagrant fouls are now out for blood because someone had the guts to push back. One especially dramatic keyboard warrior even declared, like they were auditioning for a Shakespeare reboot, that she should be banned for life. Seriously? No place in the game for what Sophie Cunningham did. That warrants further review and penalty from the league. Seriously? Standing up for Caitlin Clark is now a crime? That's the reality we're living in? Apparently having your teammates back earns you a spot on the league's most wanted list, according to the WNBA's ever-spinning outrage machine. But naturally, it didn't stop there. The fan base, never ones to pass up a full-blown meltdown, turned into digital vigilantes, flooding timelines with hot takes like it was a sport. One even proudly posted, as if auditioning for Judge Judy, "Ban her permanently." WNBA fans have actually started a petition to get Sophie Cunningham kicked out of the league. Yes, seriously. You couldn't script this level of overreaction if you'd tried. It's like cancel culture met a hard foul and hit send. Removed from the league? Really? Funny how that outrage never showed up when Caitlin Clark was getting body checked for simply being good. Nobody called for suspensions then. The WNBA's double standard is beyond obvious now, and after seeing this latest fan post, it's clear we're not just dealing with bias. It's full-blown hypocrisy at this point. Remove Sophie Cunningham from WNBA for misconduct. Misconduct? Please. The only real crime here is fans acting like Sophie staged a coup. All she did was show loyalty, toughness, and expose how paper-thin the league's backbone really is. If a flimsy 119 signature petition is all it takes to cancel a player now, maybe the WNBA should ditch the basketballs and start handing out therapy dogs in safe spaces. This isn't about misconduct. It's about control, and Sophie dared to color outside their fragile little lines.
So, lads, Sophie Cunningham, obviously a player for the Indiana Fever, who got into a little bit of trouble last night. And by trouble, I mean she took somebody down, and then when they tried to go at her, two of them went at her. She held one of them off with one hand while getting the other one in a Muay Thai hold, and looked like if this was an MMA fight, she would have started bringing the head down to the knee. Like, you better believe in a 2-on-1, I'm taking Sophie Cunningham over Lindsay Allen and JC Sheldon.
This isn't just about one play, one player, or one night. It's a disturbing pattern, an endless, dizzying cycle of undermining progress whenever the Fever gain momentum. And Caitlin? She's out there, rewriting the narrative on rookie impact, smashing attendance records, and doing all of this while constantly dodging elbows, slander, and dismissive glances from those who seem allergic to her greatness. She sinks a 3 from the logo, and instead of applause, Someone files an emotional grievance with the internet's watchdogs. But Sophie? She saw it. The subtle cold shoulder Caitlyn's been receiving from both sidelines and the media. She felt it, and she responded. Not with grandstanding or theatrics, but with raw, unfiltered conviction. That act alone sparked an online uproar that spread faster than a quick break. The absurd part? The petition calling for her suspension is so over the top you'd think she dunked on someone's grandmother. She protected a teammate in a league that often feels rough and unrelenting, and now they want her to disappear from the court? The message is deafening, if entirely warped. Stand up for yourself and you'll be silenced. Stay silent and you're safe. The irony? Sophie isn't the villain here. She's the uncomfortable mirror reflecting how uneasy people feel when women refuse to just compete, but also stand up for each other, unapologetically. The petition reads like a fever dream, born out of caffeine overload and a scroll through unhinged fan forums.
The enforcer situation at the end of the Fever game last night after the repugnant behavior of Marina Mabrey and J.C. Sheldon. And, of course, Cunningham ended up getting the gate out of it. I've also got Stephanie White making comments about the refs. I give her credit for at least she went hard at the referees. And I wonder, will the WNBA fine this coach over that? I've got a feeling. They shouldn't. They better listen.
Remove her forever? As if Sophie accidentally uncovered alien footage in Area 51 instead of simply defending a teammate in a tough game. Forever isn't just excessive, it's fanatical theatrics pretending to be moral righteousness. Demanding a lifetime ban over a moment of loyalty and protection is over the top. More like auditioning for the league's new role as head of overreaction theater. If removing someone forever becomes the norm, what's next? Lifetime sentences for stepping out of bounds? It's less a petition and more a chaotic comedy sketch gone off the rails. Are we really supposed to believe Sophie's crime was being loyal, assertive, or protective? If this sets a precedent, players everywhere better start apologizing for simply doing their jobs. She didn't start a brawl, sabotage a play, or pull some outrageous stunt. She responded with presence, bold, fierce, and undeniable. And now that's apparently a cardinal sin. The ironic part? Her offense was committed in defense of someone who's become the league's biggest star. Caitlin Clark, the walking, talking, three-point ratings booster. Yet instead of protecting her from repeated elbows, shoves, and hostility, the focus shifts into a bizarre witch hunt against her team. That's not just backwards, it's a complete tumble into nonsense. The Indiana Fever are doing what underdogs do, taking hits, standing tall, and proving they're not here to be mere background characters in someone else's narrative.
Sophie Cunningham retweets the petition on top of her jersey being sold out. I told you, man. I told y'all. Sophie Cunningham is from the Show Me State, bruh. She's standing on business. She's standing on business, and she wish you would. She wish you would. She probably find all of this entertaining that they is going all out of the way for this whole situation with Marina Marbury and J.C. Sheldon, bro.
They weren't supposed to be relevant this season, yet here they are. Not only relevant, but spotlighted. Still, the moment they act like a real team, defending one another, they get painted as the villains. It's laughable. Critics, with their sharpened tweets and emoji outrage, conveniently ignore the ongoing pattern. Caitlyn gets treated like an uninvited guest at her own party. She elevates the league's value with every crossover. And yet, she's met with hostility for the audacity of being excellent. She's not just playing the game, she's rewriting how it's watched, marketed, and monetized. But instead of appreciation, there's backlash. Instead of praise, suspicion. As though her success is some kind of cheat code. And now Sophie, her teammate, her enforcer, her floor ally, gets villainized for acknowledging the madness and pushing back. Not with violence, not with venom, but with presence? That's the scandal? That's what deserves removal from the league's ecosystem? Please. This isn't about justice, it's about discomfort. Discomfort with someone daring to disrupt the status quo and say, yeah, no, we're not doing this anymore. This entire fiasco is a case study in misplaced outrage. A league begging for visibility finally gets it, And now it's trying to claw back the very momentum it asked for. Because the delivery vehicle, Caitlyn, is not easy to box into old narratives. She doesn't fit into the neat mold of humble star or quiet achiever. She laughs mid-game, stares down defenders, high-fives from 40 feet out. She doesn't just play. She owns the stage.
Sophie Cunningham's response to all this, in terms of her tweets, like, if you guys didn't see Sophie Cunningham's retweets, Sophie Cunningham obviously responded with the shrug Instagram post, but Sophie Cunningham also retweeted this. NBA fans have now made a petition to have Sophie Cunningham removed from the league. You can't make this up. I love how what's the petition on right now? What's the petition on? Because I know the petition only had like 100 signatures. I know the petition only had like 100 signatures, but it is it's one of those things.
And when Sophie channels that fierce energy, the system immediately reacts with panic. How dare they be unapologetically competitive? If Sophie Cunningham is now the league's scapegoat, then we've officially entered the upside down, where fierce loyalty is flagged as misconduct, where protecting teammates is punished, and where loud, passionate play becomes a reason for exile. The petition is a wild overreaction. The league asked for fire, and when Sophie brought it, they called the fire department. What's even more absurd is how predictable this cycle is. A few games ago, Caitlyn dazzles, crowds erupt, social media explodes. In the ether, someone decides she's shined too brightly. Suddenly, everyone needs a mop to clean up the excess energy. But the real irony hits when Sophie takes a stand. She shows loyalty. She intervenes. Bam! A petition appears, and not just any petition, but one that seems crafted in a basement lab fueled by insecurity and too much iced coffee. Defending a teammate now warrants consequences that would make an international tribunal blush. You'd think Sophie snuck into a league meeting and rewrote the rules. Nope. She simply refused to let her teammate be tossed around like a loose ball. Yet somehow, that's enough to ignite an outrage squad.
It's crazy that entire sentence just rolled out of my mouth. Because the NFL officials are so bad that a lot of people think the game is rigged or scripted. By the way, I've seen that about the WNBA as of late too. Like, are the officials trying to navigate games in certain directions? We got to remember, there's things like prop betting, and can we keep somebody? Hey, I put $2,000 over on Caitlin Clark not being able to score 25 points tonight. The payoff on that is $10,000.
They fire up their keyboards, inflate their egos, and unleash a digital tantrum, pretending the soul of basketball now rests on removing someone who, gasp, cares. Transitions? Sure. Let's pivot. Have you seen the numbers? Caitlyn averages like 22 a game. Fever have a winning streak rumor going around, and yet there's a collective eye-roll record spinning. It's like someone binge-watched Mean Girls one too many times and decided WNBA teams are just mean girls in shorts, but they're not. They're athletes with sweat and actual grit, unlike internet trolls who can't even spell irony. And let's get one thing straight, this isn't about one play or one moment. It's a pattern, a routine, a rinse and repeat cycle where the same crowd that begs for visibility can't handle it when it arrives, in the form of a blonde assassin from Iowa, dropping triple threat moves and changing the financial forecast of a league in real time. Suddenly, it's not about the game anymore. It's about maintaining a fragile hierarchy, where success is suspicious, and backup dancers better stay in formation. The Fever aren't out here playing dirty. They're just done being polite about being bulldozed. Sophie's stance wasn't aggression, it was overdue. It was a no more nonsense moment in a league that claims to value empowerment but often punishes those who use it at full volume. Funny how the silence from leadership grows louder every time Fever players get shoved, cheap-shotted, or thrown under the bus while chasing a playoff spot they've actually earned.
There's actually a petition out there that they want to kick out Sophie Cunningham out of the league. Where was this petition at for Kennedy Carter? Where was this petition at with Dejanay Carrington? Where was this petition at with Alyssa Thomas when she chokeslammed Angel Reese? No, it falls on deaf ears, right? because she defends Caitlin Clark, it's a problem. This league is so freaking petty and lame. That's why I call it the WNBA. There's so much envy and they're all green with this. It's embarrassing. And the fact that this person created this petition is embarrassing.
Meanwhile, the scoreboard paints a very different picture. Caitlin's racking up impressive stats, Sophie's drawing defenders like insects to a flame, and Indiana is gaining momentum. Yet, on Twitter, it's a different story. The comment sections resemble a courtroom drama, minus the nuance or logic. The delusion is so thick, you'd need a chainsaw just to cut through it. All of this fuss over someone daring to treat a teammate like family, that's the real crime? Welcome to 2025, where showing backbone gets you the threat of career destruction. As for the trolls and petitions screaming justice, they offer nothing but performative outrage. They slap Sophie's name on a document, but it's clear they're only branding their own biases. Nothing about accountability or fairness. It's outrage for the sake of outrage with zero substance. Petitions can be powerful tools when used wisely, but targeting someone for standing up against blatant disrespect? That's like writing to Congress because your friend got a C in algebra and demanding her expulsion. Logic has long since left the building. And let's be clear, Sophie's crime was simply defending Caitlin. No insults, no chaos, just standing her ground and saying, "Not on my watch." If that's enough to warrant removal, then maybe the entire mission of the league is warped. We don't punish players for protecting teammates unless your team is Petty Inc. and your game plan is find someone to cancel every week.
Definitely the W, especially if Sophie Cunningham is going to continue to fight people for messing with Caitlin Clark, because it feels like Caitlin Clark is going to get treated in a certain way in this league for a long time. She's not a rookie anymore. Okay? She's already proved herself. She's won. And then there were some, ladies last night that were trying to go a little physical. And in last year, I think something we noticed, and I think a lot of people noticed, is when Caitlin would get bullied, nobody would do nothing.
That's right.
Nobody would do nothing. It was like, hey, they didn't know, like, whoa, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe people are doing this to Caitlin Clark. Teammates weren't jumping in there. They bring in Sophie Cunningham. I had no idea. Sophie Cunningham was a black belt at the age of 6.
Yeah. Yep.
Boom!
Wow.
JC Sheldon, that's cute. You want to poke her in the eye, then push her into a boom, Mabry thing? Go ahead. I'll take a take foul, and you'll eat the deck a little bit here. And then we'll get I love it.
Supposedly, the petition claims to protect league integrity. I can't help but laugh. League integrity by silencing defenders? That's like trying to preserve Shakespeare by banning the bard for being too emotional. It defeats the entire purpose. The WNBA thrives on drama, on accountability, on loud personalities. Without them, it's just free throws and uniforms. Want more clicks? Add the petition, call it celebrity removal, and watch the views spike. But are we here for genuine sports or just social media stunts? The shocking truth is, nothing really changes. It's Groundhog Day. The petition drops, fans explode, Sophie gets vilified, then silence. Sophie still plays. Caitlin keeps scoring. Social media moves on to the next outrage. A Gatorade spill, a misread tweet, a hashtag gone wrong. The cycle spins endlessly. Fans complain, the league shrugs, reporters type away. What we've learned is that outrage doesn't need facts, just a juicy target. Sophie heroically defends her teammate, target acquired. She must go, says the petition. Most coaches, players, and legal experts, they just shrug. But the petition parade marches on, like a dystopian conga line, taking itself seriously with suspicious earnestness. Meanwhile, on the court, chaos reigns. Indiana rolling, Caitlin shooting from everywhere, hype reaching tectonic levels, all while the cycle of outrage continues.
Every time Caitlin Clark takes the court, her opponents act like they've been booked for a main event brawl. The WNBA is doing nothing about it. Opponents aren't playing ball. They're strategically ambushing her. They're trying to injure her. Opponents bring chaos. She brings composure. And what Sophie did last night is completely valid. The WNBA has to do something about this.
And yet critics yawn. Again with these stories, what's new? How about excellence, loyalty, camaraderie? That's new every damn night. But that doesn't rhyme with drama, so tweet writers don't bite. And here's a fun twist. Petitions often create the opposite of what they intend. The Streisand effect? Yep. You try to erase Sophie, news outlets amplify her. People research what's going on. They watch, they debate. She becomes the martyr and hero all in one. The Petition basically signed her autographed poster for heroics. Let's transition sharp. Remember battleship diplomacy? Petitions are like sending threats in a teacup. Who's organizing this? Did someone get a villain kit with pen and paper? There's no faceless evil coalition. They're just loud individuals who found staying home and demanding Sophie's removal fulfills their existential crisis. And ironically, the petition does absolutely nothing to help Caitlyn. It doesn't change her stats, doesn't make her defense easier, doesn't add seats in the arena, just performative justice porn with no impact on the game. And yet more petitions will come, and more outrage. And still nothing changes. Sophie scores, Caitlyn scores, agents score by moving the needle on visibility, advertisers score. Petition? That's the only thing that doesn't score points. It's the unnecessary coupon clipping of fandom. Last pivot. Imagine if fans petitioned for a team that couldn't score to be removed. Would petitions even exist? Nope. You don't petition mediocrity out. You petition powerhouses for daring to play like champion.
This is the part right here, right? So I just hate to pause it. So this is the part of the press conference that was leaked last night.
And I don't know how JC and Lindsay they get ejected from the game when they did not do nothing. So for me, it's just disrespectful, to do this foul when you are winning the game by 17 points.
Yeah. Can you just give it that?
Yeah, but she didn't do it on purpose. It was just, her defense. But I don't think that she did this on purpose. We can rewatch, the game and in line when I rewatch it. I know JC. She's not this person.
It's a classic case of anti-competitive elitism. You can be talented, but not too talented. Loud, but not too loud. Protective, but not too protective. Essentially, performative equilibrium, where showing true loyalty or standing up for teammates becomes a threat. But the stream never really closes. If Sophie is silenced, what message does that send? That external pressure trumps locker room loyalty? That fan demands outweigh team cohesion? Petitions seem to have become the new rulebook, overshadowing the actual sport. It's both hilarious and tragic, depending on how much absurdity you can stomach. So, Sophie defended Caitlyn. A petition appears, fans whine, and nothing really changes. Sophie keeps playing, Caitlyn keeps shining, and the drama just keeps recycling, ready for the next outrage before the previous one's popcorn even cools. If you enjoyed leaving a like and subscribing, more videos are on the screen now.